this week's finally reveals how Hazama became this patchwork that he is, because as we know, he has a lot of scars and a part of his face is basically another color. So yeah, and the reason for this was that as an 8-year-old, he was caught in a shrapnel blast, which is what a grenade creates when it explodes. And this shrapnel blast tore his body apart. And it was only thanks to a very good surgeon called Hanya that he basically got patched together and was able to, become this good surgeon that he is today. And most likely, Hanya, he inspired Hazama to become this great surgeon. However, this of course didn't leave him without scars other than the physical ones, because he was actually so badly damaged even after the operation that when he had when he has to pee, he had to go to the toilet very fast, and he couldn't do that because he could basically not move his legs. He couldn't move his legs. So the only way he could come to the toilet was to crawl, and that meant that he wet himself a lot. However, we know that he must somehow have overcome this obstacle. However, I'm not sure if we been shown this in a future episode, or if it's just basically them showing us how he became this, and then we have to, think for ourselves how he became, recovered from this. However, we find out that this Hanya, he also wrote a novel or a book, I'm not sure what you call those, where he basically describes how Hazama, he fought how to basically, what's called, he fought in order to recover. It's called a record of a disabled patient. So yeah, if there was a chapter where we saw that book and what it contained, maybe we would have the answers there. But let's get back to Vietnam, because as you recall, in the last episode, or to be more precise, the fourth episode, we Hasama and his group, Bob, Fan, and I think it is the photographer plus Steve, was taken captured by the North Vietnamese, and they asked them to sign a paper where they basically tells the world that they attacks villages, innocent villages, without any provocation. So this is a very smart tactic from the North Vietnamese if it had worked, because then they could have shown the what's it called the the world that the American people, you shouldn't trust them because they are willing to attack you. Even as if you provoke them, then they are attacking you and destroying everything. It doesn't matter if that you haven't done anything; they will just attack you. So yeah. However, they refuse to bend, and therefore they are being tortured. And oh man, that torture, that looks really nasty. That looks really nasty. However, thanks to this torture, or in a way you could say, because when Pan is being taken away for being tortured, she is meeting. She is lucky to get with a guy who works for the North Vietnamese, who was actually saved by Yabua in a basically before they was taken prisoner, and he didn't care about his own life. Yabua, he just wanted to save a patient. And this guy, he decided he wanted to do the same, so he give Pan the key when she's going back, and this helps them to escape because the leader has just decided that it's time to go. Basically, they have in 3 days they have to be away from this place, because if the enemy knows where they are, it's easy to take them out. So they need to move in order to basically be very hard to track and find. And it was lucky that they got out, because we found out when they collapse in the jungle and is found by Yabua and taken to a clinic in the jungle, that Steve even thought he got the maggot cure, which is basically you put maggots to the infected area, and then they eat the necrotic meat, the flesh, and then their saliva has some antibiotica that basically causes it so the wound won't like it will heal faster, and it also what's it called, it heals faster, plus it also makes it so you don't get so it doesn't get infected. So it's a really good, shall we say, symbiotic the maggots actually have, even though we don't like them. However, we have been told by Yabwa that they have to basically fix him soon because he will die else. And Hazama, he's willing to do the operation, but he is too weak. So Bob, he calls the American military medical, area, and they tell him that they can be there in 3 days, and that is too late. However, thanks to one cool doctor who volunteers himself, they he arrives in an hour. In an hour, because he decides that he or his mod or what's it called, his way is basically that if there is a patient, he will come there no matter what. And that is why I think he's cool, because he jumps out of the plane with the medicine, because, as I said, there is a patient waiting for him. And this is very dangerous because he could have been shot by the North Vietnamese because they thought he was an enemy. However, he isn't all that nice because he actually looks down on Hazama because he's only a medical student and not a doctor yet. And he also seems to think that America is like the best country because they are like, from what I understand, the most advanced in medical treatment. And I'm not sure if that is true, but I think that isn't true entirely, because there's most likely places where stuff are treated better than in America. But we at least he shows that he has skills because he saved Steve's, and he also shows something that I never have seen. And that is what is it called? Basically, some kind of plaster that you put on the scar, which basically works like when the blood cluster, basically, and also prevents infection. So yeah, really interesting episode. Sadly, we didn't get his name, and he seems to be really interested in the scars that what's called Hazama has. But hopefully, the next episode we will have some information about him. But until next time, see you guys later, and cheers.